Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the 11th house with Prashant Trivedi. We're going to be diving into the core and the root of what this house really is all about. So please, Prashant, please enlighten us to the 11th house.
Right, Julie. So as always, we'll go back to the house before, that's what we do first. Because, from the last step, only the next step happens. So we're going to go back to the 10th house. And what we were doing, we were working ourselves, right? Determination, hard work, putting the 9th house things into action, in the real actual world, in the real way, which requires determination and work. So, but that was with yourself. You are doing the thing, right? Now, what happens after that? Once you start doing something, you find out that there are some other people doing the same thing. Whenever you do something, you always find out that some other people also doing the same thing, right? Now, once they start doing the same thing, then you have to connect with them. Okay. So you find that immediately, that creates a sort of comrades in arms, like this group, just because you are all going the same path, doing the same thing, and that is 11th house. Okay. So yeah, your sound is not coming to me like this.
Oh yeah, I'm just muting it so you don't hear any background noise.
Okay. So the thing is that that is 11th house. 11th house is this movement from your own work to suddenly a group situation where everybody is going in that direction, and then you also get help from that. So 11th house in the normal terms is called gains, right? Gains, normal, that it gives you gains. Now,
yes.
What is the gain? Okay, the gain is that you get these people and then beings who are on the same frequency doing the same thing as you. That is the gain, actually. So whatever you can accomplish alone in this world, you can accomplish as a group much easier, right?
Yes, it's very true.
If 10 people are doing something, then it'll be more. 11 people are doing something, then it'll be more than one person doing the same thing. And if everybody's pulling in the same direction. Okay, so we have this field of group work here in the 11th house. And how have you prepared for that? You're prepared for it two ways. One, in the 10th house, you worked hard yourself in that direction, so that you're prepared. Okay, because of that. Now, in the 3rd house and 7th and 11th house, because 11th is the final house of the 3rd, 7, 11 triad, 3, 7. In 3rd, what were we doing? Journeys and things by ourselves. 7, what we were doing, we were meeting one person at a time, right? But in 11th, you have to graduate from that. You can't be just meeting one person, or I can deal with one-to-one people. Now you have to deal with the whole group. Okay, a lot of people, can deal with one-to-one with people, but they can't deal with a group, so that requires much more psychological sorting. It needs much more. It demands more out of you, you need to curb a lot of yourself things. You have to, what they call sacrifice. In a group, you can't always say what you want to say immediately, right? there are a lot of things in a group. There's a lot of tact.
A lot of group dynamics.
Yeah, in a group, there's a lot of more tact involved than just one-to-one dealing. One-to-one dealing is much more simpler. 7th house is much more simpler. It's, some people find that complex even, but it is much more simpler compared to 11th house situation. Okay, now 11th house is a much more advanced situation, let's say. It's the final house of the 3, 7, 11, and a being is expected to do this 11th house test on Earth, the group test, because if they don't, they can't be really go to a higher realms or anything. Because
so is the group test to be able to be with others in a group setting and to be harmonious within that group?
Yes. Because if you go to higher realms, there'll be other beings there for sure, right? It's not you will be the only person there. Okay, right. Now as a being, you'll be there and other beings are there. Now you'll have to harmonize with that. Okay. And if you can't do it here, how can you do it there? Right.
Yeah.
So like, so if people have ego issues or in ego problems or all kinds of problems, they cannot do the 11th house thing. Yeah. And that is the main thing of this house. Like 5th house is creativity, your personal creativity, right? We went to the 5th house, your intelligence, creativity.
Yes.
Now you have to apply it within a group situation.
Oh, okay.
11th house, opposite house.
So that's how it works, how they work together.
5-11 dynamic also I'm giving you.
Mm.
So we have learned it follows from the 10th house, the 11th house, the step. It is doing the 3-7-11, finishing that. And it is giving the 5-11 thing. So it's a culmination of a lot of things happening in 11. Okay. Like in 10th house, we learned it was culminating 2 and 6, 2nd and 6th house. It was culminating into 10th house work, but 11th is culminating the 3-7-11. So it's called the calm triangle, your desire triangle,
Oh,
so,
okay.
But final culmination of desire is like finally you are doing the thing which you want to do and you're doing the thing for evolution, you're evolving yourself. And then you're working alongside other beings who are doing the same thing. So that is the best thing which can happen on earth, right? There is nothing more. That's the ultimate game on this plane. Okay, there cannot be anything more anyone can ask for.
Reminds me of like the Egyptian, mistake if I'm wrong, please correct me, but the Egyptians, they were always like in these groups, and the sole purpose was evolution and
Yeah.
these pyramids. So it kind of reminds me of that dynamic from that time.
Yes, anytime, any people who are understanding and who are advanced enough would finally give more importance to this than just one-to-one dealing.
Got it. And it becomes distorted here. Oh, sorry about that. They just started the machine.
Yeah.
It becomes distorted in this time and age because of the whole like bar scene and going out with friends, and you're just devolving together.
Yes. I mean, that will be the negative aspect of the 11th house we see here, But in all of that 11th house, things don't really last very well because fights start, bickering starts. In that kind of situation, there will be always tensions and problems anyways within that group scene, and things are always not harmonious in that way anyways. Like the harmony is very fleeting and it finishes very quickly, So because only when you are working in the right direction yourself, the rest of the first 1 to 10 houses are working, like we have done the discipline of all those houses. Are you ready for the 11th actually? It's a more advanced thing. You're not ready for 11th, It's not like you're not working on your first house yourself or diet, anything like whatever we talked about up till now, Then, and if you try to do a group situation, that group situation will just collapse. Like that will be just a crazy thing, It'll make no sense and it'll have no lasting impact, So that group work, that Aquarian group work for the higher purpose, for higher reason, for evolving yourself and others, that is what comes in the 11th house. Okay. So for that, you have to have everything very sorted, like you can't have any issues really, yourself in order to be part of that, because everything has to go in the same direction, like grow in the same direction. So like, and you have to be not having, like any kind of problem in any kind of way psychologically to be part of a group like that, which is that thing. So a lot of the things get tested in 11th house. Even if you think that other things you've done all good and you're mastered the houses, you come to the 11th and you find there are problems. Like, but they will only come into light once you join the group situation. You won't even know those things.
That's you won't even know those exist.
You won't even know those exist. Like, so it's like a final test.
it could be beneficial too. Like you're saying, you're doing your work the 1st through the 10th, and you think you're all sorted, and you come to the 11th, and it's bringing up all these things you didn't know that were inside of you. So
Yes.
it's good to work those out too once you
Yes,
activate
obviously
them.
you have
Yes.
to. Without going through 11th,
They all
nothing
come
is
up.
final.
Yeah.
And without going through 11th, you're not going out. 12 is not happening. We'll talk about that later. But
wow, it's like you have to conquer. It's like each house has its thing that you have to conquer, and once you do that and you overcome it and you learn from it, it opens the doors to the next house.
Yeah. So 11th is the final test, actually.
Wow.
It's the final test, and this is Saturn's house. 10th and 11th are both Saturn's houses. Like Capricorn and Aquarius, both are Saturn signs, right?
Yes.
So this is the final test, actually. If you get through 11th, you're done. It's like that's why it's called game. It's like final result. Like you get whatever you want to, you achieve whatever you want to. Like it's the house of achievement. Because if you can do that, that is actually an achievement for any human being.
That's right.
It's a real achievement. Like so it's a pinnacle of everything on a plane. Like whatever is happening till then. So it just gets tested in a group situation only. So that's why the group is the most important thing for this house. It's not just you. It's not just you and you, somebody else, one person. You're a paired with. It's not that. It's a whole bunch of people. And that is a very different dynamic than just you and one being, the 7th house dynamic. So,
is there any connection with invention and technology per se that gets a lot of the in the Western, because it's co-rulered with Uranus?
Okay.
There's like this technological kind of energy there.
Technological. I mean, for example, right now groups are formed on what, like internet, WhatsApp, things, technology.
Oh,
like
so it's reflecting the medium in which they connect in. Okay.
Which is called social media right now, right?
That's so cool. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of people cannot handle social media properly, like, majority of the human beings, because
it's very dysfunctional too. Yeah.
It's very dysfunctional, right? Because technology is there, but you are not sorted enough to use the technology or for a practical purpose, for making things better, right? So the groups are formed, and so this technology is only allowing groups to form more easily. Earlier, like when you are into something, you would find like it'll be a while before you find somebody who's doing the same thing. Now it's instant before you find other beings doing the same thing, whatever you're doing, right? So the technological aspect has come in anyways. And then whatever, like the technology, like air travel or whatever, which allows people to travel from one point to the other to be part of the group or whatever. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is all helping, obviously. Finally, all of that serves the 11th house only. No matter what the advancement is, it's serving that.
Okay.
Like the final purpose, the final goal. Like, so these are goal houses, 3, 7, 11 are goal houses, and this is the final goal house, the final, so yeah.
And the rewards that this house gives, today, the reward a lot is seen like mass amounts of money, but I'm assuming originally that is enlightenment and evolution. Those are the rewards.
I mean, that is
right?
happening. Like if you can function with the group right now, even if you're part of a group, right? The things are smoother for you if you want to be in the matrix, right? And if you deal with the matrix, if you're in a group, it's much easier to deal with the matrix than if you're alone. If you're alone, the matrix will bother you much more.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're part of a group, you can always find out ways and things to, like, things are more easier for you. So that ease of functioning in this matrix comes from 11th house, not from money.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because it's not like, I mean, a person can have a lot of money, but if you're alone, then you will not find the solution for different things a lot of times.
Mm.
But if you're part of a group, like, because different people have different abilities, so different people will find that thing for that solution for that. So yeah, so I mean, in anything, like, group is always forms. Like, even if you start teaching something, then there'll be students. Yeah, that is a group, right? Like, I mean, any kind of that thing, and whenever that is there, a group has a strength, in dealing with the outside world. So that's the whole point of that. And at the same time, it shows your ability to like coexist with different beings in order to fulfill your own purpose and like fulfill a higher purpose.
Yeah, and it can help serve others as well, which is really beautiful.
Yes. So yeah, so it works always for you,
Yeah.
for the group, for the collective. Everything is like 1 to 11 to collective, basically. That's the application. 1 first house, 11 group, and then, like, that's why in a lot of sports and stuff you see, like football and stuff, there are 11 players on a team.
Oh.
Why not 10? Why not 12?
Oh, I never thought about that.
Why? Because it's 11th house, right? It's just to show it's to show what makes a team. Any team is 11. Okay, it's not you have to have 11 people, but it's just to show that number. Yeah, so about group work, teamwork, and everything. So that's the whole thing about this house. Ability to, from 1 to the group, then to the world and the collective. And it's much easier to do that with a group than individually. So, like, even in music, for example, if you're playing one thing by yourself, and if you're in a group, like, I mean, you can't play everything at the same time. You can't play bass or drums and guitar at the same time, right? Like, or anything. If other people are playing other things, then it's easier to you just play and then harmonize with that, like, whatever. So, it is that kind of a house, and you get the final result, like, immediately, the final, that thing,
So could we get a practical example for fun of just a planet in the house or a graha like Venus? What would that be like in the 11th?
Okay, like Venus. Okay, now Venus is in 11th, right? So Venus is with dealing, regards, you are talking about dealings anyways, and 11th house is dealings. Okay, now Venus is about pleasantness, right? So how pleasant are you in your dealings in the group, right? Okay, you have to bring the pleasantness element in dealing yourself in the group. Okay, and then obviously you would want a group where every dealings are pleasant, right? Both ways. So, you're seeking that, and that is expected of you as well, that you will be like that, right? So that's what you're looking for in group work, right? Like, that sense of pleasantness in the dealings, basically. That's the most important thing to you in a group, from your own point of view. Like, so
What did that
your
mean?
challenge would be, yeah.
Would that mean per se that you would also be surrounded in group settings with more women, or no? Do you
No,
so?
no. I mean, it's about pleasantness. Venus is not just women or men, it's pleasantness.
Oh, okay. Would it show that those masculine and feminine, like with Mars there too, would that connotate or no?
No. I mean, it depends on, like, what are you seeking in a group? Like, what is most important to you? Like, to different people, different things are more important.
Okay, and it'll
group.
show itself
Like,
in
when the
that
Venus
way.
is there, like, you know what is important for that being.
Oh, got it. Okay, it's a reflection of what's
Different
important for that
reflection.
being. Yeah.
Yes. So you can tell what their nature is, what are they expecting for, what do they want from the group, or what is their expectation
Oh,
for
okay.
the group and for themselves in the group, both ways.
Okay.
So that's what it goes into. Like, that just colors that, the graha will only color the house in that way. So that's what the coloring would be in that case, like so.
And if you had a planet in the opposite house, like in the fifth house, what's called the opposition, would that have a energy that would be bringing it straight onto the 11th that would impact it in a way that you
like in the Vedic system, the graha which is in fifth looks at the 11th. It just looks at it, like you are sitting in this room and you're looking at the other room or looking at whatever you're looking at. Okay, so I mean, obviously you're doing your thing. Okay, it'll be similar like that. What that graha will be doing is, like, for example, if you play music, right? So you are doing your own creativity at the time, like fifth house, right? You're doing your own creative process, but at the same time you're listening to what the band is doing as a whole.
Oh, okay.
Right, so you're in that situation basically, in that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so basically you are focused on both things, and your creativity also is changing as per what the band is doing.
Oh,
because that's
so
influencing, because that sound that you hear is influencing how you are going to do your own.
That's
creativity.
fascinating. I've never thought about it that way before.
Yes. So that's what's going to happen in the fifth house graha at that time, if the graha is in the fifth house.
So in Western, there's a strong emphasis on this oppositional energy, the oppositions, they cause it. So you're saying that, of course, it's not an opposition. It's just a looking at, and that looking at that house, it doesn't necessarily have this kind of
like conflict, like a conflict, but it can be a resolution or changes your own way how you are doing something, like, or you were going to do. Like if you're by yourself, you might create it like that. But since the band is going like that, you will create it some slightly different way.
Okay.
So which then you might like it more even. I mean, depends. Like, it's not a that thing. So I mean, it's an additive. Both things trigger each other, both ways. It's like a
there's a feedback and a resonance
feedback,
between
and
the two.
both things trigger each other. Like that's all. Like so.
Okay.
That's how it works. So 11th house is a culmination house of so many things. 5th house, 3rd, 7th, 11th. The process in 10th house also finishes in 11th house. So all the culmination for human beings is they can work in a group work and do the things in a group work. Then they have actually done something on this earth. Do you know what I'm saying? Which makes them ready for the next house, which we'll go into next time, but it is the culmination point for a human being on this earth, this 11th house. It's in all ways, so.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you all heard it here. It is the culmination point, and it leaves me with so much intrigue to hear next time what the 12th house is, this final house that is so mysterious. I can't wait to see when we dive into it, what this final house is all about, bringing this, all of these houses that we've been through and how they all come together to bring us into the 12th. So we look forward to seeing you all for our last house. Thank you so much, Prashant Trivedi, and we will see you all soon for the next one.